and we are TwoPaperGirls.
For this week's Top 5 Wednesday, we're doing a slightly different twist, and we're doing a Top 7 Wednesday because I had 4, Amy had 3, but they kind of cross over, but we couldn't think of any more, so Top 7 Wednesday, Future Classics, that's what the topic is. Future Classics.
Yay! This is all our own opinion, by the way. These are just books that we think are our personal favourites and have some sort of, I think, metaphorical meaning or something deep that you can take from it. Like Chattagny is not on this list. So books generally that kind of mean something to us that we think could be taught probably in schools or just generally enjoyed as a book that will go down in history.
So my first one is Life of Pi by Yann Martel, and this is definitely the first one that came to mind when I saw this topic, because this is already a kind of a book where you get those silver bookmarks in Waterstones where it's like 50 books to read before you die. I'm pretty sure Life of Pi is on that because it's already just got like this thing around it of being a modern classic, and I just can see this as carrying on into the future and just being studied because there's so much like extra layered substance to it, and it talks about so many different things, and it'd be really good to study like in the future and how it reflected to the past of when it was written, which is now. But I just love this book, and it's one of the best books I read last year, and Amy's loved it for years and years.
Speechless.
We both just love this book because there's just so many layers to it, and I think you could reread it and get so much out of it, and I don't know, it just feels like a classic when you read it. I think that's the main thing with this one, why it came to mind straight away, is it feels like a classic already.
The next modern classic that I think will be is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth, which is just a really recent read for me. I've just finished it literally yesterday, and it's absolutely incredible. It's got this new realm of a genre that I am personally going to be like the pioneer of, and that is dog narrators. It makes you feel great. They've got their own personality. When you're reading it, you know that it's a dog, so you don't feel the same way towards them as you would a human. It is the best genre, and I encourage budding writers, not bidding, to join in and write from dog perspectives. I think it's going to be a classic because it's so deep. It's about animals and religion, because it just makes you feel like there's life after death. And if a book is about life after death, then it's definitely going to be a modern classic, 'cause that's what everything's about. If Frankenstein's about it, then it's a modern classic.
The next one on really our list, because this is definitely on Amy's list as well, is All My Friends Are Superheroes by Kaufman, because this is just the most wacky, strange book, but it's amazing. It's just all these characters where they have like personality traits or personality flaws, and they're kind of described through their superhero powers. And it's just so original, and it's already getting like so much hype. It's been out for quite a few years now, and people just love it. But yeah, this is the 10th anniversary edition, so it's been out for like 10 years, and it's just an amazing book, and I really hope that they make like a really good film out of it one day, because I think it can make like a really good hard-hitting film. And it's just kind of, I imagine in the future people looking at books that kind of talk about mental illness in the mind, like, and how we view it at the time, and I think just fits nicely into that genre. It's like the bell jar, but better.
The next one I'm going to talk about is a book called Beauty Queens by Libba Bray, who also wrote The Diviners, which is also very famous. I don't think it got the hype it deserved at all, because it's basically a modern, funny retelling of Lord of the Flies, but still has the hard-hitting, like, messages behind it. And it's about women, and it's got a lot of feminist, like, attractions in there. It's just so good, and I don't hear people talk about it very often. And if Lord of the Flies can be a classic when like there's just a hog's head and that's the plot, this book has got such a huge plot, and it's like capitalism and feminism. It's just so good, and also like the way people see their bodies because they're beauty queens. It's just got everything in, like all the big questions, but it's also hilarious, and every time I talk about it, it makes me want to reread it. But yeah, I think it could be a modern classic if more people just know about it, really.
My next one is another one which I think is arguably already kind of becoming a modern classic. It's on that kind of table in Waterstones along with like Catcher in the Rye and stuff, and that is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. I've loved this book for years. It does feel really like a more modern day Catcher in the Rye, because it just focuses on this one character who's just struggling with teenage problems as well as deeper problems, and kind of finding his way. It's a real coming of age story, but it doesn't feel YA or tropey, but it's also still very readable, and it just has so many like different layers of meaning. The film is great, and it's become like quite a cult classic, so I can see that kind of carrying on into the future and people reading this in the same way people read like Catcher in the Rye and stuff. And I just think this really deserves to be a modern classic that people can study in the future or now, because it's just got so many different layers to it. It is set about I think it's quite old actually. I think it's about 20 years old. It's also set more in like the 80s and 90s, and it's just really good at like summing up teenage coming of age problems, and it's just beautifully written and really concise and amazing.
Our penultimate book is I'm the Messenger by Zuzak, because this book, even though I've slightly forgotten the plot, made me feel so good. It was like such a deep story. It's kind of a mystery book because there's this guy and he's a bit run down. He doesn't live a very good life, but also he's quite content. Like he sees himself as a bit of a loser, so he hasn't got much of ambition. But then he's got such an amazing personality, the reader does not view him as a loser at all. And then he starts getting these little cards, like just aces and like stuff in the post. And then he has to go talk to people and like view situations. And it's just such like a key concept, I think. It's just such a good idea. And the way it's written and such the originality of plot, I don't think I've read something that original, apart from Dog Narrator, for a really long time. So I think this deserves to be a modern classic. Partly as well because it's like, when you think of Marcus Zuzak, you think book thief. But there's like 1,000,000 books on the Holocaust, which there should be, but also it's fun to celebrate like the books of the authors you don't really know that much about.
And our last one is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, because I just don't know how this couldn't become a modern classic, a classic in the future, because in the same way we celebrate books like Brave New World and Catch-22 and 1984 because they reflect what people were concerned about politically at the time, The Hunger Games just does that to a T. And also I think its popularity is that's just really significant. If a book becomes so popular, it obviously resonates with a lot of people. And even though this is a series for teens and it's got like the romance and the love triangle and all those kind of things you don't typically get in classics, apart from maybe like Jane Austen and stuff. But so even though it's quite like aimed at teenagers, I still think its messages and the way it kind of presents our worries about like capitalism and just how we ignore the suffering of others, and just kind of like the whole capital is kind of like America. And obviously the way things are going at the minute with Trump and stuff, I think it is going to make reading The Hunger Games like even more significant in a new way. And I just can really see like this series, and especially the first book, is like going down in history as one of the best dystopias, because even though it's a bit tropey and whatever, it just shows the time of like the fact that it resonates with teens is like our teenagers are becoming very like politically aware, because at 14 you can read it and be like, that's my situation in some ways, and I think that's really significant, and The Hunger Games is just great.
So that's it for our top 7 Wednesday books that we think are going to be future classics. They're all probably like our favourites, although they were at the point when we read them, and that's why we feel like they're going to be future classics.
Let us know down below which books you think will be future classics and your opinions on what we've said in this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye!